Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here with a third project that we're going to start. But again, just showing different ways that you can construct a junk journal. Now, the first videos are always the painful ones because you're watching me sew signatures. Just saying. So this one here, the first one we did was with a scrapbook pack, collection pack. You don't have to have a digital download. You can use pattern paper. You can use the pattern paper that you have in your stash right now. The second one was a digital download by Dreams, etc. And that was Black Swan. And that one I actually incorporated into another book form. And it's 3 signatures, and I did coffee dye those papers, so there was a little more work that went into them. Again, you don't have to coffee dye your papers. Excuse me. For this one, this is a journal kit that is by Antique Paperie, and this is called Darling. I am not going to do any coffee dyeing to these papers. I'm not going to spritz them in any way. The only thing I may do is replicate the splatters throughout the white copy paper that I'm going to interact in through this. This is also one of hers as well. So there are 6 backgrounds, again, not coffee dyed. And I have 2 of these just to mix around. I am going to include one of my hinged book pages where I'm going to put a hinge in between that. So we'll have that. So now that's 9. This is for the hinge. Let's see, 9. And then I'm going to have 3 pieces of copy paper, white copy paper. And yes, I had to go get them. So I'm going to have these 3 sheets as well. So again, you don't have to coffee dye. You don't have to do anything of that sort. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to get these pages together, and sewing this signature, it is going to be a 1 signature junk journal. So I'm just going to get my pages ready. So I'm just going to fold these in half, and then I'm going to trim them down, and I'm actually going to trim them down along the white mark. Again, when I print down a download, a digital download, I print it down on regular copy paper. Now, if you would print these down on photo paper or a high quality cardstock, you definitely will have better and stronger, more vivid images that you will see on your papers. I do like the look of the copy paper. It's also very much readily available. It's right at my fingertips when it comes to getting this paper. Now, what I'm going to do here is I am going to fold this in half. Now, I know these are going to change when it comes to the size. So I'm going to set them over here. And then just set those aside. So you can see I'm keeping it to its true brilliance. I'm going to real quick pull in my paper trimmer that, yes, will not fit on the screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim right along this white edge. So when I print, I shrink it to fit on the page. So I always get these little borders, which I'm okay with. And I am just going to trim those away. Yes, they are folded over. And this should, I'm okay if they are different sizes and that cut crooked. If they're different sizes, and if they're just sitting differently, I am okay with that. All right, now I'm just annoyed. It's okay. There we go. Are you kidding me? Alright, I'm going to come in with my scissors, and I'm just going to cut right up on the edge, holding both pieces of paper. There we go. And now we'll lift this. So now we have that. And if I look on here, I don't have any of the white edges either. So if I put this up to my white paper, I'm taking off a 1/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to do the same thing on here. So if I put these up next to each other, again, does not need to be perfect, but that's pretty much where we're going. All right. So I'm just going to continue to cut these. So anyway, so you've seen the one, and again, you'll continue to watch these projects grow. And what I mean by that is by making the ephemera, the pockets, the tucks, the envelopes, you know, all the fun things that we can create when it comes to our junk journal. But I did want you to see what a journal would look like as well if you didn't coffee dye your papers or sew. You know, yes, we may put a few pieces of lace onto some of these, but, you know, again, maybe you don't have access to a sewing machine. Maybe you don't want to sew. Maybe you don't have the ability to coffee or tea stain your papers. Again, maybe you don't want to. You know, you don't have to. That's the beauty of what this is. So I'm just going to show you all different types of how these can look like. And then I know there's going to be one more project. I just haven't figured out what that project's going to be. And again, usually when as I create these things, they get listed in my shop. Or 9 out of 10, these are already projects that are for someone who's asked if I would make one for them. The funny thing is, usually as I'm making these, there's always a second one in the background that I'm putting together as well. It's like chips. You can't just have one, right? Right. So I'm just going through and I'm taking off, you know, this white edge. If you don't have a paper trimmer, it's absolutely fine. You can use a pair of scissors. You know, again, just because I'm using, you know, could be a fancy gadget or anything like that, does not mean that you have to have that gadget as well. Use what you have. Use what's already in your space. Now you can see these are all going to be different sizes, which is kind of cool. That's kind of what you're, you know, kind of what you want. when it comes to that. I like to have my pages a little bit different, a little bit offset. Yeah, I'm cutting two at a time now. I just think it adds interest. Hopefully that cut through. Of course not. I guess I might need a new blade. I'm not quite sure here. I don't know why this isn't cutting through. See, that's why sometimes scissors are sometimes the best things. Although I've had this trimmer forever. And it's probably that plastic, this plastic grid that I gotta get replaced. Okay, so let me move this. These we do not keep. Get these cleaned up. Okay, so here we have our papers. Here we have our digital prints. They're digital as well. I'm just going through and looking as to what my first one is going to be. Not my cover. And I think this is it. I don't know if I'm going to put that in there. Alright, and I know I'm going to take this and I want that because this is going to be my center. This is going to be the outside of the pack. I'm going to put that there. I am going to put one of these here. I am going to put one here. I'm going to take that one and put that one there. Just laying them out the way that I know I want them to be. And then I know that's my center. And then I just get these back in line. And I will put a clip on these for right now, just to keep them together. Now I also have some white sheets and I'm going to put those, but now let's get making our hinge system. So I'm going to go down and I'm just going to cut into this just to flatten it out. That's what I'm looking to do on this. And now I'm going to cut straight up here. I am not doing a great job cutting. Oh my goodness. Now I know I only need two. I need two pieces and I want it to be 2 inches wide, but I am going to make sure that this is a straight edge. So I'm going to set that down. And now I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut 2 at 2 inches. So that's one. And I'm going to cut another one. That's 2. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue down. This is where I'm going to create my hinge. So I use, of course, brown paper bag. And I'm going to use my grid just so that I can see where the center is and all of that. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to line this up along that line. I'm going to take my one book page and I'm going to line that up there. And then I'm going to take my other book page and I'm going to do the same thing. I want to make sure that this is lined back up. And now I'm going to take this and push that down. So there's a gap, and that's because of the way that I put them down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put more glue on here, and then I will set my second strip down. Now I'm going to come down below, and I can see the shadow of the paper. Now I'm going to come in the center. And now I'm going to put these pieces together. And I'm going to, yes, come in with my little brayer to just push that glue around, make it flatter. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to bend that in half. And then we'll trim. And that is our hinged piece, and it's very close to the width. Yay! All right, so when we look at these, and usually when I do a single signature for my junk journals, I usually have anywhere from 12 to 15 full sheet pages. So I know here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So right now I have 8 sitting here. So this is going to be 9. This will be 10. $11, 12, 13. So there we go. We got 13, which means we have 26, which means I have 52 sides, meaning 1, 2. All right, so that's how I count that. So you can see that when you don't have coffee dyed papers, this stays very thin. It doesn't, you know, bloom up. And because you don't have coffee dyed papers, you can add more into this. So if I wanted to add a little bit of cream, which I'm going to, I can put that one right there. And then I can come down a little further and I can put one of these here. So again, we just added, you know, some different size papers. Now what I am going to do is I'm not going to pull out my paper trimmer again. So I am just going to take, I'm just going to eyeball it, take a little bit off the top of this with my ruler. I love that ruler. The other ruler we have not bonded, and I don't know if we ever will bond. And I'm going to do the same thing on this. Again, I'm just going to eyeball it. Just going to tear a little bit off. And we'll put that in there as well. And I think that was all I added. So see, we are back to the normal size. So that's what that looks like. I already have my template. We're going to set this aside. And I'm going to use, back to the basics, I'm going to use one of my piece of craft cardstocks for my my cover. So I always keep it 8.5 by 11. So I am scoring at 5.5. And then I will fold this down and then use my bone folder. So if I take this and put this in here, that is one section of our junk journal. Now, one of the things that I am noticing here is that these pages that are in the center are really close to the edge. I'm okay with that. To me, that just adds, because again, we're only going to be gluing items here. And again, it just adds to the character. And when I sew this together, it will tighten itself down. So I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to line it up. And I'm going to put my clips on. Yes, you will sometimes feel that you need 10 million hands to do these tasks. And see, things get thrown around, because that's what I do. There we go. So again, I'm just going to put that one there. And then I'm going to come in and put this one here as well. Sorry, I know my hands get in the way, but it's just the way that I maneuver around this piece. And I'm going to put this in here too. Now, the other thing that I usually do as well, and what I will do, I'm just going to find it. Now, you know what? No. I'm just going to go directly and I'm going to sew this little puppy right in there. Yes. So I'm lining up my templates. Sometimes smaller bull clips work too, just saying. I can't find my smaller ones. Which really is horrible because I like my smaller ones. So you can see I'm just nestling my thumb right up in there so that I can get that clipped. And then I'm just going to come in here and push that right in there. And then the same thing. I'm going to snap that. And then just make sure she's right in there as well. All right, time for the book, the awl. And once again, I think I'm going to use my pearl cotton again. I think I'm going to choose a really bright, vibrant purple. I think it would be really pretty. So again, I'm going to push that right down in there. And I'm just going to puncture right through. And let's see, I'm going to get my needle. And let's look. Let's see. I'd love to have just that vibrant blue. I don't think... No. Okay. Give me 1 second and I'll be right back because I want that vibrant blue. Okay, I am back. I found it. I just love that color. I think it'll be perfect. And as always, you know I walk away. So here I just have a piece of chipboard. And when I open one of these, I always take the number and I tape it down so that I can wrap the extra pieces around this. Okay, so you pull this apart, and then right here where it's tied, that's how you can separate it. Now, if you have the patience and if you pull these, it's sometimes, oh, it worked, yay. You can actually just get, you know, your 2 strings. Oh, and I think this gotta go like that, yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully, until I can get that, that's 1, and that's 2, and that's 3, and I know I've got so much extra, and that's okay. Again, I do like the Pearl Cotton 5. You got lots of color choices. Although I still do like the wax thread. I like what it does. The look and the feel of it. And I think it just knots better. But that's just me. Alright, so this is going to be so much easier to see. Since it's white, it's bright, and it's not a dark cardstock. So, I'm going to go through the center. Now, here's what would happen. Let me see something here. Yeah, I'm still going to go through the center. I was going to try something different. So, I go away from me through the center. I pull it through. I'm going to keep a tail. I'm going to bend my book just a little bit, and I'm going to come towards me. So you can you see that? I'm going to come towards me. Now, when I open this up, I should see my needle, and I do. And I'm going to pull that. Now I'm going to go away from me again. I'm going to bend just a little bit so that it goes through. And I'm going to pull that. Now I'm going to come back into this one. Now what I want to be careful of is that I am not crossing the threads. Crossing the threads can just make it difficult to tighten your signature up to make sure that it's taut. Now I believe, now what I can do here, I flatten that out. I believe I did go through the threads. Yes, I did. There we go. So I just shifted it. Because again, since you're on white paper, and you can see how quickly that came down. So now I'm going to skip that center, and I'm going to go to the one just after it. I'm going to bend my book a little bit so that I pull my needle through. I'm going to turn this. And now I'm going to come back towards me. So again, I'm going to bend my book a little bit, put my needle into that hole, just wiggle it a little. Now somehow she shifted. There we go. And now I'm through. And now I'm going to go through this one. But again, I don't want to cross the thread, so I'm going to like pull that thread down away from me so that I can get my needle through. And now I'm going to come back up through the center. Now I know my thread's on this side, so I'm going to keep my middle finger there as much as I can, and I'm going to come back through the back, bend the book. See, now I'm in there. Now I just need to look at what this is. So now I can lift that up, but I can tell that I'm through that thread. But that's okay. You know what? I'm going to take a chance on it. So when it comes to, now at this point, I can let the clips go. These papers aren't going to go anywhere. So here I can check very loose. That's nice tight. So now I'm going to pull straight up, pull straight up. I'm going to pull straight up, pull straight up. And then that should be my tension, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. So I think I took 5 times the book, because I've got all kinds of strings going on here, which is okay. So I'm going to grab my 2 ends, I come to the front, I bring it through, I tie, I bring it to the front again the opposite way, I pull through, and I tie. Now these are obnoxiously long, as you can see. Yeah, got really carried away there. So I'm going to cut one here, and I'm going to cut one here. You never know what you want to do. If you want to tuck them inside. Now didn't create a pocket in these. Didn't want to do that this time. So we're going to be having some charms hang from these. I'm going to tear away my template. From each side. And that is our journal with the beautiful blue thread. And you can see that since you have it pulled taut, remember I had some papers that were pretty close up to the edge on this book. They are not now because they're pushed down where you sew. So here we now have another journal ready for whatever we want to do. Again, I do like to get my pages in order, create my journal or create my covers. So this basic is now ready for me to do whatever it is that I want to do, whether it's pockets, tucks, ephemera, folds, charms, tags, journal cards. This is ready. I am one, if I do sew, to sew down the sides, to do it while it's together like this. I don't do it when it's individual pages. 2 reasons why. The main reason, and the first reason, is I always forget. I'm going to be honest. I always forget to do that. And 2, this, by having the book together, I can see what will look good where when it comes to, you know, the type of materials that I want. Where do I want those materials to be, and so forth. So this one, pretty simple, single signature. Again, using a digital download, but we are not coffee dyeing. We're not going to sew. Hopefully I remember that. We are just going to use the digital kit. I only added some general papers like copy paper. This is cream copy paper. And then this is just some sheet music. Now you can also find sheet music as a download as well. I just grabbed one of those to put that in there, and then of course to show you my hinged book page, to put that in so that I can keep the book pages going in the way that they are, and I love the way that that hinge just looks in there. So those are the only things that we added. Okay, so stay tuned for more. You will get to see how this evolves along with the other two. The other two are going to evolve as well, and I believe there's going to be one more project that I'm going to throw in here that I have been dying to try. Very inspired by, as always, Gail and Irina. I've seen her make these as well, so stay tuned for that. So as always, the list of the items that I normally use and that are my staples throughout my junk journals are listed down below. If you have any questions, please make sure you leave those down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day, and I do hope that you are all safe and healthy, and that includes your friends and family as well. This is a challenging time, but what I find that helps to get me through this is always being creative. Till next time, guys. Take care.